This defendant is wanted out of Broward County, Florida for felony theft. State would be opposed to a bond. There are 47 cycles of criminal history in the past 5 years alone, and these are just convictions.
47 pages of criminal history in 5 years?
47 cycles, Your Honor. For pages, it is 46 pages of criminal history, including, well, the California one's old, so I'm not going to count that one, but just in the last 5 years alone, and these are just...
They were not 47 in the last 5 years.
Hey, don't talk. We're just trying to... The thing is, Mr. Jones, is I have a very limited amount of time to try to get to know you. Everyone that comes in front of me tells me it's gumdrops and rainbows and little bunnies jumping in the woods. But the way I really get to know you is the paper, because that tells me who you are, right? If you're a person that I'm going to let go and you're going to continue with the criminality, I have enough trouble sleeping as it is. I don't want more blood on my hands. I don't want something else that's going to keep me up at night. So that's why. Well, but this is how we get to know you. And he's telling me you got 46 pages of criminal history.
Your Honor, in the past 2 years, he's had 3 failure to appears of multiple cases. He's had 2 habitation trespass convictions, a DWLI, prostitution, battery, criminal damage, failure to appear, possession of drugs, felony, obviously, resisting. But in the 21 some odd years, it's the 47 cycles of different offenses, and I just stopped scrolling after 2020.
How many failure to appears do we have?
3, Your Honor. And this one itself is a no-show, or according to the transmission.
Hey, Your Honor, could I say something?
Sure.
With the one you come out with the failure to appear, I feel that was nonsense because of the simple fact that I flew from Fort Lauderdale up here after they said I had a warrant, and I went to court a couple days before that. And is that documented, sir? You can see that?
Judge, I will say this. He did explain that
How
to
old are
me.
you, Mr. Jones?
I'm 14 years old, sir.
You're 40.
Yes, sir.
How many cases has he picked up in total?
He's been charged with. If you give me 10 minutes, I can count them, but it's not low. I can start from 2004.
So theoretically, for every year you've been born, you've had a case.
I have a
You're
question.
40 years old,
Okay,
and you have around 46 pages of criminal history. So literally for every year you've been born, you've like picked up a case. And not only that, you've got multiple failures to
Sometimes you don't think the jurisdiction will fail me?
Huh?
You don't think the jurisdiction will fail me?
But the problem is, at some point, your actions become your own. You now have with us, you've picked up a theft case here in Harris County. You've got an open case in another jurisdiction. You've got pages upon pages. So at what point is it on you?
When you pay your debt to society, why do they keep using it against you? I pay my debt to society for
Because
those,
it continues.
for those fires, okay?
Continues to happen. At some point, DAs are like, jail just doesn't work anymore. So that's when we got to go to prison, because this dude.
Prison don't help guys. That don't make them better. That make them worse. Instead of tormenting them and sending them and feeding them to the wolves, y'all just got to sit down with that person to find out what's going on to help that person. Instead of prison not helping nobody, prison is not.
I can't tell you how many stories I have read of people who get degrees, college degrees, even become a lawyer while they're in prison. So if you want it to help, then it will. But you got to want it. If you have...
You know what the sad thing about it is? And in the state of Florida with me, and that's why I left, something happened and I have a conflict of interest against the police. So now they're jigging at me every chance that they get. But it's crazy. He's saying I have a warrant. And I flew from there after that warrant was pro se that they said I have. I flew from Fort Lauderdale all the way to Houston, flew back down there and flew back. And they said I have a warrant. And I flew and went to court for another charge down there.
I don't get it.
And I went inside.
I don't know how that happened, but it's not supposed to.
So who's the system failing? If I have a warrant, you may tell me they're going to let me in their courtroom, attend to my judge, see my judge, everything, and let me go. And let me get back on the plane to fly back here. Mind you, I flew from here and flew back down there. They let me do all of this with a warrant.
I can't explain that. I can't.
So that's the system failing somewhere, somehow. That's not me.
Let me talk to the judge real quick.
Mr. Jones, if you have this woe is me attitude, it's
I'm not
never going to
helping.
change.
I'm not helping. It's not helping. Y'all not helping society. Y'all always blaming me and this and that and the other. Prime example, he said, "Oh, he got projects from here, and he went and called stuff off." That he said, "Well, only starting from 2022, and he going past 2022." And I'm like, "Yo, but hey, but that's what the prosecutors do. He's just doing his job."
Right, that's what he's doing.
If I may, a couple points. First, if he's finished up the cases that he has had in his history, okay, he's had a history. If he's paid his debt to society, like he says, if he's completed what he needs to do for those cases, that really shouldn't be relevant here. I would argue that in front of you, this is his first time being in front of you, right? And it looks bad that he has a criminal history. Yes, I get that. But if we were to just focus on whether or not he knew about this case, he's telling me he got on a flight, came over here, and it's a great question. If that happened, he would have had a warrant pending and he would have been arrested. So
When was the warrant issued, do you know?
March 3rd, 2025, but because it's a domestic flight, obviously I don't work for TSA, I don't work for the Department of Homeland Security.
Just got issued.
just March 3rd, 2025, Judge.
Your warrant was just issued in March of this year. So
And I flew-
30 days ago, got issued.
And I flew March 10th back up here.
So, Judge, if that's the case, it hasn't been like he's been missing his responsibilities.
And I went to court.
It's less than a month.
And you can also see that I went to court. I went to court before March 3rd.
That's why it's failure to appear, which is
I went to court. I went to court before then.
Judge, the warrant has
I was
been
in the courtroom.
issued we're at April 1st, less than a month. And so it's not like he's been running. If the warrant's just been issued on March 3rd, I would ask that we afford this man an opportunity to make the right. He hasn't messed up in your eyes. Yeah, he's messed up in the past. But as far as the future case is concerned, I'm asking for an opportunity for him to go to the humane jurisdiction. And then if he messes up, okay, well, I don't have much to say after that. But just throwing his history out there, it doesn't mean he doesn't deserve a chance.
I stand by it, no bond. He has assaultive history as well, and it shows in the message I received from Florida is that he has violent tendencies, obviously reflected by the assaultive history, along with and I don't have to go ad nauseum, but the significant criminal history that he has.
When were the FTAs? How long
The
ago?
most recent failure to appear is, one moment, Judge. There's one from May 4th, 2023. There's one from December 7th, 2023. There's one from...
It's not on this case, though. Those are separate cases. We're not talking about on this case.
To be clear, it's not on this case, but...
Obviously not on this case. But the problem is that it keeps happening, and I can't continue to...
Sir, it's not keep happening, sir. Sir, this we said, sir, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have another open case, and that open case is why I flew back down there. Went to court, finished court. They said I have a warrant. I go to the warrant district. They said I have no warrant. Leave the warrant district, get on the plane to fly back up here, and they said I had a warrant before I even flew on the plane back down there. So how could I fly?
Mr. Jones, even if I were to set you a bond...
Okay, no problem. Hey, send me back there, man. Can't about this shit, man.
Easy money.